Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be talking about console Fortnite. And usually, the videos that I make about console Fortnite nowadays are more negative, because it seems like every few months, console just becomes a glitch-filled disaster for a few weeks before Epic does anything about it. But surprise, surprise, this video today is actually going to be an overwhelmingly positive one, because a few days ago, Epic announced something involving console that gives me a lot of hope for the future of Fortnite on PS4 and Xbox. And no, just to clarify, I'm not talking about split screen for console, which was actually just added into the game on the day I'm making this video. That's a cool feature and all, don't get me wrong, but it's not what we're going to be talking about today. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so what we're going to be talking about today is the future of competitive console Fortnite. The fact of the matter is, for the first 2 years or so of Fortnite, which is about how old the game is right now, there plain and simple hasn't been a respectable competitive Fortnite scene on console. And the reasoning for that is actually fairly straightforward. All the big tournaments and events thus far have made all input devices play together, so it's basically impossible for a 40 to 60 FPS console player to truly compete with the 200 to 300 FPS pros on PC. And it's funny because I literally remember making a video in the summer of 2018 when it was first announced that console and PC wouldn't be separated, and I titled that video something along the lines of, "This is the death of competitive console Fortnite." And it turned out to be the truth. No console player qualified for the World Cup or any major tournament that I can think of. It got to the point where if you were a controller on console player trying to compete, you needed to become a controller on PC player to even have a chance. But over the past 3 to 4 months or so, that started to slightly change. If you guys recall, over the summer, there was the first ever Fortnite official Xbox only online tournament. The prize pool wasn't anything crazy, and it definitely didn't get much attention, but it was a little something to get the ball rolling. Then, a few months later, Fortnite started doing these weekly cash cups that are also platform specific. And that obviously means that if you're a console player and you play in that event, you're only going to get matched up against other console players, and obviously the leaderboards will be separate as well. Again, the prize pool isn't massive and it's only a once-a-week thing, but definitely another really important step in the right direction. But the biggest piece of news is what was just revealed a few days ago regarding the Winter Royale. For those of you unaware, this is a huge online-only duos tournament that anybody can play in. It has a $15 million total prize pool, and it's one tournament each day on December 20th, 21st, and 22nd. But the tournament itself isn't even the biggest news here. The real shocker regarding Winter Royale when the information was officially revealed by Epic is that first off, the tournament is going to be platform specific, and second is that console and PC have exactly the same prize pools. I'll just show you guys an example of the day one prize pool for PC on NA East. As you can see, first is 8 grand, second is 6,500, third is 5,500, and it goes all the way down to top 500, which is still a very respectable $600. And if you take a look at the console prize pool for the same event, you'll see that it's the exact same thing. And I can't remember the exact details, but I recall even mobile/Switch having a very respectable prize pool as well. It's definitely less than PC and console, but it's still a very solid amount of money. So it's hard to even put into words how absolutely massive this is for the future of competitive console Fortnite and just console Fortnite in general. I know for a fact that a very high percentage of my audience are console players, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys are probably really good at Fortnite. I remember during the Xbox Cup that I talked about earlier, like 3 to 4 different people tweeted me screenshots of them finishing in the top 50 to 100, which is obviously just a really massive achievement. But other than that one specific tournament and these weekly platform cash cups, which really don't get a ton of attention, insanely skilled console players haven't ever really had an opportunity to showcase and profit from their skill in a competitive environment. But this Winter Royale Duos tournament is going to be exactly that, and there really is a shocking amount of money up for grabs here. And I think the coolest part about the prize pool is how insanely deep it is. I'm sure some of you console guys watching this video right now are probably thinking, hey, this sounds really awesome, and I'm definitely really good at the game, but even going against just console players, I'm still not good enough to finish in the top 10 or top 20. Well, with this specific prize pool, that isn't the end of the world at all. For example, if you play the console Winter Royale on NA East, if you can finish top 250 all 3 days, and keep in mind that's the top 250 duos, so it's really like top 500 players, your team will walk away with $3,000. Now, don't get me wrong, top 250 is still going to be very hard to get with all the people competing, but I just wanted to point out that so many players are going to walk away with a lot of money. Another positive of this tournament is that it's the first real opportunity for the best console players to make a name for themselves. If I were to ask you right now to name some of the best controller on PC players, you would probably have no problem rattling off at least a few names. Ino, Assault, Unknown Army, Lecce, Wolfies, they're just a ton. If I were to ask you to name some of the best PC players, again, probably super easy. Tfue, Mongraal, Benji, Zate, whatever. But if I were to ask you to name me some of the best console players, that would be a whole heck of a lot harder. I mean, I can think of some top creative guys like Razor X, for example, but in terms of top competitive players, I honestly don't think I could name one. So maybe this tournament will be able to change that. If a duo were to theoretically finish first place day 1, fourth place day 2, second place day 3, they could probably say, hey, we've always thought we're the best players on console, and now we have proof of that. Now, one interesting twist to that could be if some of the top controller on PC players come back to console for this tournament, which I'm definitely expecting. And I think it'll be a really good test to see how those top controller on PC players actually adapt. Because trust me, it's really hard after playing on PC for a while to go back to console. And even though I've barely played competitive tournaments in the past, I'm seriously considering going back to console just to play this Winter Royale because I think it would be a lot of fun. Now, as I expected, as soon as I saw the Winter Royale details, there are a decent amount of pro players who have been very outspoken against console having the same prize pool as PC. And I definitely understand why they would say that, but here's basically my response to that criticism. At the end of the day, console without a doubt brings in more revenue for Fortnite than PC does, simply because console just has way more players, which means way more people buying cosmetics and the battle pass. So it was honestly pretty unfair that for the longest time, console as a whole was practically shunned from any kind of competitive events. And I think Fortnite is starting to recognize that, and is maybe even seeing a dip in their console player base, so they're trying to do stuff, especially on the competitive side of things, specifically for console. And obviously, I think that's a great thing for the future of the game. But what PC players need to remember is that even though this is a huge step in the right direction for console, I still expect that the biggest tournaments such as the World Cup, if they do another one, or FNCS, is going to combine all platforms going forward. And since that's been Fortnite's competitive philosophy from the very beginning, I'm not going to complain about it any more than I have in the past, and I actually think that's fine as long as console gets more platform-specific tournaments like Winter Royale going forward. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are about this Winter Royale tournament for console players, or just competitive console Fortnite in general. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.